Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show.
Is it happening, Laurie? What do you think?
Yeah. What's up, Jaqueline?
Well, I had many shows this week, and the weirdest one was I did one at midnight so that fans in Europe and Australia could watch. And I got immediate. Here's the thing about Zoom shows: everybody's got your email address, and so I got immediate feedback from 3 different people.
Oh no!
Yes, because they all know that I'm working on the new album, so they've got some input.
You are a puppy and you showed your belly to the audience. Huge mistake.
I had a very fun interaction today with Greg Proops and Kathleen Madigan when we reminisced about some horrible condo moments.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, God, Madigan was talking about how much she loved to feature. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's a sweet spot. Why wouldn't you? No pressure.
Back then it paid enough to you could live. You weren't big, but you could live.
No, you could still live just as poorly. Weirdly enough, you can live in your car.
You can have need a second job, right?
I always had a second job.
You lived with roommates, or you lived with your parents, but you didn't need a second job. You could just be a road feature.
No, I always had a second job as a road feature.
Really?
Yeah, I had a job back in town that would let me go on the road.
I don't think I did for a while, but then I was living with my parents, so I had no rent. I just had car payment. So
right, and I never had a car payment until not long ago, 2005. Hi.
Is that because you stole cars?
No, it was not because I stole cars. It's because I drove shitty old timey cars that broke down. I could just push them to the side of the road and then call AAA, which my brother Phil bought for me the first 5 years. That was his Christmas gift every year. He's like, "Why don't I pay for your AAA?"
That is a perfect comics Christmas gift.
It really is. If you know anybody that you need to find something for.
Well, but
you just did a set, didn't you?
I did. I just did the Boulder City comedy show. It was fun.
For Rodriguez?
No, Brett.
Okay.
Brett Gill. Yeah. Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
No worries.
Okay.
Because Rodriguez asked me about doing a show, and I forgot what it was called, but it was in Colorado.
Yeah, it was. This is the second one I've done where it's a Zoom to Twitch.
Yep.
So you record in Zoom, and there's a few audience members in Zoom. One show was just the other comics that was the audience, which is tough.
Yeah.
And this show had a few designated laughers, some VIPs, and then they pushed it out to Twitch. I didn't interact on Twitch though; it's too much going on.
Right. I've done several. I've done Twitch. I've done YouTube Live, Instagram. This week I did Run Funches Podcast.
Oh yeah.
And that was via Zoom, recorded. I believe going to go on something else. I don't know what, but it's always weird when it's just the comics or it's like the one that I did that was international. This was interesting because it was only 30 people. And
so the show, let's go back to that show you did at midnight. Is this the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was just 30 people who were either up because there's some sleepless nights out there, and but it was 11:30, 12 LA time, which meant that it was 7:30 in the morning in Switzerland.
Okay.
And I have a fan who's a fan of this show too, who she was like, "This is the greatest way to start the day," and I'm like, "Okay,
that's
cool."
Let's do it.
Yeah, and then Carmen Morales, she opened for me, and I did like 10, and then I worked on a 30, and then we all went to bed, and I got 3 emails within about 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And they're, the thing is some of the stuff I talk about, you can tell me your take on it, and I'll read it, I guess. I may or may not act on it, but the input is, it's sort of, I get my knee-jerk reaction as you can imagine,
Yes.
is fuck you.
Yes.
And then,
Yes.
and then I'm like, all right, what did it really say? And then I read it, and I'm like, clearly they're fans, obviously, right? They're up in the...
Well, you're talking about issues that are pretty big. And so it does. I mean, when I'm watching, I'm like, oh, and I have ideas and stuff. So
Sure.
it's not
It's
like
just that.
it's not like tiny stories. It's like big stuff, right? And so
Yeah.
everyone has a feeling about it, I think,
There's a
But
hot
still.
take.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a hot take, and I can. But what I would ask of people is that write that email. Please do. Please let your flag fly, and then sit on it, and then read it the next day, and then send it to me. After, do another pass. I want a second draft. How about that?
How about this? They could email me, and then I would email them, delete your email. But it will have been
Yeah.
read.
Someone will have read it. You will feel some justification in there being read.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing, what else? I did 2 shows with Pete Lee and Greg Coleman.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They're both Minneapolis comics, and for Acme. So we did Saturday night shows. First one
again.
sold out.
Cool.
Yeah,
Huh.
we're doing one this week. Won't be on
That's
Friday. It'll be on
crazy.
Saturday. Lewis is like, the first one we did. The one you did with Tommy Ryman and Andy Erickson, it sold out. Let's do the next one. And I was like, that's why I did the next one on Friday, so that if the Friday sold
Yeah.
out, we could sell more on Saturday. But they didn't. The second one didn't. They were close. The first one was sold out, but the second one was only at 200 instead of 290. And so Lewis is like, let's move it back to Friday, to Saturday, and then if we sell them out, we can do shows on Friday. I was like, oh, that's right. There's no fucking rules anymore. Who cares? And people will have bought tickets to Saturday, and they'll be like, oh, well, there's Friday shows. Interesting. All right.
I want to
So,
do
but-
an Acme show.
Okay. Yeah. Totally.
My
It's-
my Seattle gig, like next weekend, officially just canceled like 2 days ago.
Oh God.
Hey,
Yeah,
they were holding on. I would have bought a ticket. I'm sure they're pretty cheap now.
My Colorado August, my first theater of me headlining canceled
Ah, fuck.
in Colorado. But you know what? That's okay. I've gotten 2 famous people, and when I say famous, I'm talking comics.
Can you put it in the Zoom chat so I can see?
Yes,
So Kyle can see, but no one
Yes.
else can see?
hopefully,
Like the good old days?
like the good old days. So this guy called me out of the blue to ask me if I was getting unemployment.
What?
Yes.
What?
I know.
What?
He's huge, right?
What
He's a genius. He's a delight.
Oh my God.
He's
And I
a
would
wonder.
think have sacks of money. Right?
Right, just-
At this
just
point in his
Scrooge McDuck, piles of cash sitting around.
career. Right.
Well, what is the first question do you think Jackie K should ask that gentleman, that young man? I said, well, do we have to claim our sound exchange money as income, right?
Right.
Can I get unemployment if I have sound exchange money? And he said, oh, I don't know. I don't get any sound exchange money.
What? Does he not
Yep.
have an album?
He has 3 albums. I said, somewhere in the world, there's hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Oh my God.
If you could please call Sound Exchange on Monday. And he
Yeah,
was like,
because they hold it for you. If
Yes.
you don't collect it, they don't give it to anyone else. It just sits there. But they're
Yeah.
making money off. They're making it money off the interest, holding
Right.
your money for you.
which is good, because Sound
Oh my God! I can't believe you didn't know. Oh, that is ridiculous.
right.
That is
but it's-
ridiculous. Who's
it's
managing?
great.
That's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, but you know what? The thing about him is that he loves the art so much. He loves
Yes.
the stand-up that he's one of those. He's
Yeah.
He's like me without being raised by Elliot Cation, which is me constantly going, "What's the money on this?"
Yeah.
And I used to be super self-conscious about it. It was probably 10 years ago that I was like, "Fuck it, I'll just be asking."
Yeah.
You know? And that vagina t-shirt joke I wrote 20 years ago, I would probably sell that fucking t-shirt now.
What's the vagina T-shirt?
I was the bread a couple albums ago. There was somebody wanted me to make a t-shirt that said "That's where I keep my vagina."
Oh, yeah.
Yes. with an arrow.
Right.
I was like, I don't want to be the vagina t-shirt lady. I don't. I still don't. But who knows if I would sell that shirt now. We don't know. I might be a different person.
Jackie, you can be any lady you want. And you contain multitudes, etc. I think you can sell whatever you want.
I put in the garden.
I
saw your pond, by the way.
Thank you. I bought a little pool, a little kiddie pool for like $10 at a hardware store. And I got a little pump, like a fountain pump, like what you put in an aquarium. Mm-hmm. And I have the sound of running water outside my window now. And I can sit in my chair with the bees, surrounded by the bees. Right?
Not murder hornets, but
no, believe me, I'm protecting the bees. The murder hornets, they can't get past me. I got my little pond right in front of me, It's sort of like an audition. Like, do I want to go through do I want to actually dig a hole and all that kind of stuff? That turns into a lot of work. And let's see if I like this little.
This is your test pond.
Yeah, it's my test
having
pond.
The kiddie pool. Oh,
yes.
Fair enough.
Yes. But I do enjoy it. I enjoy the sound. More than anything, I like the sound of running water. Mm-hmm, and I just have the one toilet. I can't be running that all the time.
Right. You can't have too much running water.
Yeah.
Today I was so bored today. We cleaned the house.
Yeah.
And then Andy gamed. He played this role-playing game online for, I believe, 5 hours. And then,
wow.
It's his buddy. It's some sort of superhero game. Not the one I'm playing with Kyle, the Hero Instant. Get this, though. Andy is going to work with Jared Logan on his Stream of Blood Twitch thing to play Andy's role-playing game. So Andy Ashcraft, my fella, is a game designer.
Yeah.
One of the games that he has invented is a free tabletop RPG called the Hero Instant, where you can make a superhero character in an instant and then play a game. And it's like Dungeons and Dragons, but it's a tabletop role-playing game, blah, blah.
You're preaching to the choir, Jackie.
And so
literally downloading it right
I
now.
was on Jared Logan's Stream of Blood Call of Cthulhu RPG game, and I said, you guys should do one with Andy, and they're going to do it this Friday.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Is this particular story done?
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. I thought I was pretty patient.
You were. It was very nice, especially
I did a couple
gamery.
yoga poses. You can't tell, but I was working my my heel to my hip. That's one. Yeah.
I watched a Pilates video today and did some of the poses.
That's a start. Did you like it?
I did, because remember I was doing Pilates. I was doing those because it was good for physical therapy, and I've been digging in the garden, so I've jacked up my low back again. So I was I got to stretch it out, and so I've been doing it. I've been doing it a little bit.
I've been practicing standing on my toes. I mean, not like ballerina at the ends, but just on the toes.
Yeah.
So just because that's a couple poses in Bikram, and it's so hard. My feet are so fucking jacked. My toes are going every direction. They do not stabilize me. I'm very wobbly, so it's a lot of work. But I got nothing else to do.
Mm-hmm.
My I guess Final Cut Pro is free for 3 months.
Yeah.
My son downloaded it, and he's disappeared. I don't know where he is.
Okay.
Here's the
what
thing.
Is
like,
that? Is that a video editing?
No, it's video
software?
editing. It used to be super expensive, and I think it got a lot cheaper, and it might just be $300 at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
For
it used to be like in the thousands, right?
Is it a one time or is it monthly like Microsoft?
No,
like
it's a
Office?
one time.
Oh, that's awesome.
I mean, it used to be like only professional editors used it because it was so expensive and stuff. So, he's 13 and a half. So, like, if I have to
I
just
remember
balance
him when he was 9. That's
I know.
insane.
The balance of not commenting on stuff, like, it's tough. Like, he is reading the thick Shogun book that you and Andy
the
brought
Japanese
over.
history thing. Yeah,
Yes.
Great.
But I'm not saying it. I'm like,
You're just
okay,
letting
I
it-
see it happen. Yeah, I didn't ask him about it. It's really dicey right now. Like, there's certain things like if I touch it, it's tainted, or if I comment, it's tainted. You know what I mean? Which I understand.
Right.
I have that same. I feel
Right,
like
right.
that way with my mom. You know, like if she's in the kitchen when I'm cooking and she's like, I'm like, fuck it, I'm not gonna make this thing anymore. You know.
And if she likes it, you're like, oh, I don't like it anymore. So
Yes. So there's 2 teenagers in this house.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you one of them?
Yeah.
It's that's intense.
Mm-hmm.
So the other famous person that I talked to today.
Okay, chat it. Put it in the chat.
Okay, I don't know. So he offered me that I could do my hour.
Whoa!
And I'll make he's like, and I want you to make a lot of money. And I was like, I want to make a lot of money, but what I was like, he was asking me like what my following is on Twitter and Instagram and all this stuff, and I was like, well, these are public records. I could allow me to tell you that I have, I don't know, 39. I just looked. It was good. It's good. It's amazing. It's more than ever. But it isn't in the millions like his is. So
His is in the millions?
I think so. I think he's got 1 million.
Wow. Well, he had a TV show. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, and so, but it would be a show with a live audience.
Right. What do you
but
mean?
in a month and a half.
But you're at home?
No. I would have to go to a place where there would be 10 alive humans in a studio that had been fumigated and professionally cleaned.
Mm-hmm.
And he's doing a couple of them, but the live audience are people that you have to know have been in their own quarantine cells,
right?
And then they would all be separated by at least 6 feet in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, or I could go to your super clean, sterile place, and you could Zoom it and unmute 20 people. And so I don't know.
Is he saying recording it for an album, or is just to
recording
perform?
it? Get this, it would be a one-off. Mm-hmm. He would sell tickets, and some of the money, like he just did one, and some of the money went to charity. But he sold 5,200 tickets.
Jesus Christ!
At $10 a ticket.
and fuck. And guys, I can do math. Okay.
Right. Round numbers at least.
And so.
So he would give me a giant chunk of that, he said.
Right. So it's not recorded. It's just a live. He's just doing a presents, basically.
Like, yeah, but it's a 3-camera shoot, and he's got switchers and he's got people, but it would literally just be up for 24 hours.
Oh wow!
Like everything almost is right now. And
That's
then it would
cool.
be gone. So he's like, you wouldn't be burning your hour, and I was like, and I need to practice my hour.
Yeah.
So,
That's great.
So it may or may not happen, but he was, the thing about him is that he is such a nice guy, and he's a nicer guy today than he was when I first met him 20 years ago, right? Mm-hmm. Which is awesome.
I like it when people go that way, as opposed to a couple of our friends that are careening down Insanity Road,
Bam, bam. It's like literally, I sent you that screenshot of that guy. Did you get that screenshot? Wait, not recently. It was probably last week. It was.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that guy?
Yep.
Yeah, and it was tinfoil hat time, man.
I know.
And I don't know how you could still be blaming Hillary Clinton for anything. I mean, literally, she is sitting on a Scrooge McDuck pile of cash, drinking, I assume, a Chardonnay.
Yeah. It's but you know what? Like, why isn't there a pushback? Like, why don't you and I have our own individual internet shows every single day where we do because I mean, clearly there's an audience for this shit, but maybe if it's not shit, there's an audience for stuff that's not shit, you know?
Well, what isn't, I mean, there's, What's Her Face has one that isn't shit, and it has pretty good following, and it's not, to my knowledge, I haven't watched it, but I don't think she's nuts. It's Jenna Friedman.
Oh, does she do?
Doesn't she have a daily or a weekly?
Well, she has a show on Adult Swim, but I don't.
No. She has
a separate
quarantine
thing.
Yeah, she has a quarantine.
She has a podcast.
Video.
A quad.
Yeah, like
okay.
Yeah, like a, and it's newsy. It's a news.
But she also has she'll have scientists on and stuff like that. I'm saying you and I just start rambling about politics to nobody, and let's see where we can take our careers. Because the live shit's over for a while, maybe a long time.
Yeah, I don't wanna. I don't want to ramble about politics. I'm doing as much of. I'm doing as much of that as I can possibly sustain on the internet, and I don't know.
But it's weird, like in a way, like there's my heart goes out in a way because we all started as comics, and then slowly people get picked off, right? They quit or they can't do it or they're just on the margins. Radio
has stolen so many great comics from
radio,
not even great, mediocre comics.
Yes,
but
it's like, okay, I need to pay for my family. I need to do something, right? So I understand, people get into writing, people get into all these different things. So I understand that how, maybe they believe all this shit they're saying, but it's. I mean, Glenn Beck started as a stand-up, How
long, though?
Oh, a long time ago. But I mean,
but how long did he do stand-up?
I don't know.
Because
he has enough stage presence to pull off the bullshit he pulls off. So long enough.
He has So he might have been 7 to 10. You think 7 to 10 years?
I don't even think that because I don't know anyone who knew him as a stand-up. But as far as I know, but I don't know. I understand how that happens.
Sure.
All your friends start getting gigs and you don't. And then you find a place where people are listening to you and they start feeding you information. I swear to God, I started, I don't know something I was looking at. And then I went a couple videos in and I'm like, oh, 9/11. Like I started going down a 9/11 hole. I'm like, wait, I can't relitigate this in my head,
Right.
They did not plant bombs in the World Trade Center. It was planes.
Right. And of course, nobody wants to hear about 9/11. We're living in the new thing that we're going to talk about for 20 years, right?
Oh my God.
Isn't there going to be, whenever we get any sort of leadership back that will acknowledge that 70,000 people have died, there'll be memorials, there'll be there'll be ribbon cuttings, there'll be statues, there'll be whatever's, honorariums. But I will say that the whole I've been talking to a lot of comics lately, just I've been getting a lot of emails and texts and stuff, and nobody knows more about what comedy should be than someone who's been doing it 2.5 years. It is enraging. Occasionally it is not enraging, and occasionally I am sympathetic and polite and okay. And other times I just want to go, hey, baby comic, you don't know Jack. But there's absolutely nobody, but quite honestly, neither one of that second response isn't going to do anything for anyone except for make somebody mad at me. So I was like, just tell me your dilemma. And
I do. Okay, so I've done a bunch of Zoom shows. You have too. Mm-hmm. I do love it when people just go right into material,
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
Like we're all in the same awkwardness. You don't have to feel self-conscious about it. It's weird for COVID. Everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
don't mind COVID material, but just fucking start telling jokes, please.
Right. Pete Lee and Greg Coleman both had some great takes, and they weren't, how there was some talk a couple of weeks ago about how if you did stuff about the quarantine, if you did stuff about the coronavirus, it was going to be sad and it wasn't going to be funny. Which is, there is proof positive that comics will do just jokes about things that are much, that are just as terrifying and just as sad, that are hilarious.
Yes.
And Greg Coleman had this amazing thing about UFC wanting to make an island so that the people could hit each other in a safe place.
Yeah.
And Greg Coleman was hilarious. And Pete had, first of all, you could see him to some extent repurposing some of his jokes and that was awesome.
His Ebola chunk. It's now a COVID chunk. Yeah.
Oh, do you remember when we went back into Iraq and everybody was doing 91 jokes from 91?
Well, it's the same last name of the president. I mean, a lot of things worked, right? Iraq, it was a Bush. You didn't have to change much. Sadly.
Yeah, I remember mocking it. I don't remember. and acknowledging it as, if it was a good joke, I say bring it back. I'm not the boss of.
Comedy Central is laying off a lot of people. Did you know that?
No.
What I just saw online, they laid off the guy who does the half hours. I don't know. It's just like, whoa, what's happening to TV?
Yeah.
I feel like shit it's bad now, but we're all sort of, or a lot of people are okay at the moment. A lot of people aren't. I also feel like in 6 months, after it's been months and months of this stuff, and it's going to be like a real hell that it isn't just yet economically,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's going to be repercussions for a while. That's why I'm planting vegetables, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know what to do. There's this someone who was analyzing hotspots in Texas, and apparently Paris, Texas was fine, and then overnight it became a hotspot because they had so many cases come in.
Oh,
and
wow.
I could see, if you look at Texas right now, Amarillo is in bad shape COVID-wise. San Antonio has very few cases.
Okay. Do they have a good mayor? They must.
I don't know. It might just be luck.
Well, good, because they opened up. Remember, they opened up Texas a couple days ago.
My son's family lives in San Antonio, and no one's wearing masks. It's like it's not happening, right? That's what I'm getting. So who knows? It's coming for you. But what I'm saying is, I could see us, maybe a year from now, where it's hotspots pop up in little cities, and that city shuts down. And for a couple weeks or maybe a month, and then it opens back up again. And comics are we probably won't be able to book stuff very far in advance at all, just because we won't know if a city's going to come under attack,
Right. You can book it, but it's going to get canceled 2 weeks out. And
you could probably work LOL right now in San Antonio and be fine. But
remember the LOLMO. I don't know why they've never. When I've done that club twice, and every time I'm like, why isn't this your slogan? And I know it's a pun.
Did they respond?
I know it's dumb. I think I got a sort of here's what I have learned about San Antonio. You can't really make fun of the Alamo. They're genuinely attached to it. They love it. I don't know, maybe it's like making fun of the Packers or something.
They're also, it's a lot of tourists too. Although I think that's more at the River Center because it's right near the mall. And LOL, you sort of have to drive to. It seems like that would be more locals.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been a while.
One of those restaurant malls.
Last time I was in San Antonio, I got hit. Someone threw food at me. So
what?
That's the last time it worked. That room. I put it up. It's on YouTube. I happened to have been recording that night. They threw bread at me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Is that the only time you've ever had food thrown at you?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I had popcorn thrown at me once, and then the popcorn bag.
My God.
That felt pretty brutal, pretty tough. But it was early days. It was probably 9 months into doing stand-up. And so it was, of course I knew everything and how to do it. But
I'm dying to know the advice you got from the baby.
From the baby? Oh, Christ. It was, what was it? He might listen to it, so I don't know.
I gotcha. Never mind.
He might listen to the show, but it was just about how to get into doing it full time and how to do it right. And at 2.5 years, I don't want you to get into doing it full time. That's on me. I mean, you could do whatever you fucking want to do, and certainly now's the time to quit your day job if you still have one. I think not.
Do you feel like the younger comics like Brandy Posey, etc., because they're so good at hustling and coming up with their own shit, Amy Miller, that they're going to weather this better than perhaps our generation of comics that we grew up in a very structured club system, and even though the rules sucked, we knew what they were, we knew what we had to do to get X, Y, and Z, and
what to do to that wouldn't work. And these guys don't. There's no rules, so they're like, well, maybe that'll work.
Yeah, so I mean, that was destroyed before COVID, and now COVID's destroyed everything, and they might be a little more nimble in terms of like readjusting. You know?
Yeah, I think so. I think that everybody who's willing to be, who's willing to change with it, is going to survive in some way, shape, or form. And other people who are super rigid and going, well, I'm not gonna. Who was I talking to? I was like, oh, because the next Acme show is Saturday, and it's with I believe I've yet to get confirmed, but Mary Mack and Tim Harmston. And so who was I? Oh, Tim was asking me. Someone was asking me what the Zoom, what the lag was on the, because of the internet, right?
Yeah.
It was like if telling the jokes was different. I was like, it's just like the first theater you ever did, you got to wait for the joke to hit the back wall, and then so the person at the end of the room gets it, and then you tell the punchline. You wait for the punchline to hit the back wall, and then you tell the next joke. It's just relearning timing, and everyone who's willing to make that effort will get to practice and do their jokes and write new jokes in this time. And people who don't will have to start at the beginning again. Not the beginning, but I mean, they'll be a step behind.
Yeah. How do you start comedy now? I mean, at least we've got stage time. We know what we're doing. How do you fucking start it now?
Yeah.
Oh my God, what a nightmare.
I think you start a podcast is what I think you do.
Yeah.
And because Pete did his set seated and just sort of like this. And hilariously, he was on a rolly chair, and so he rolled a couple of times. And then he also tilted his camera a couple of times.
Wow.
It was pretty I will say this, is I found that I do more mugging than I've ever, and I was already mugging more. In the last 5 or 6 years, I've done more sort of mugging. But now I'm also very conscious of using my hands and making sure that people, we should definitely. I
haven't thought about that. I just make sure I look up at the camera, and you know what? Different formats, like, if we're doing a show where the audience is in Zoom too, you can go in gallery and you don't have to see yourself, right?
Yes.
But if you're doing Zoom to Twitch, you can't get rid of your face. Yeah. So it's very distracting to be like, I'm looking at the camera, which is above my monitor, and below it is me, but 3 seconds behind. It's jarring. That's a weird thing to get used to as well.
Yeah, it's pretty grim, but I do love gallery though. I freaking I love gallery, and I like I
would say I like gallery.
Yeah, to say you love a Zoom
I
show.
Love. Yeah.
Anyway, let's do the comic of the week.
Yes. Okay.
At a break. Yeah.
Okay. Our comic of the week is Jeena Bloom.
How do you spell Bloom? B-L-U?
Bloom. Well, how
Bloom
would
like
you
Bloom?
spell Bloom?
Oh, I guess not that like Judy. You spell it Bloom, like a flower blooms. And then Jeena is Jeena. So it's like Jeena Davis, but with a J. And that's her Twitter handle too, is Jeena Bloom. But very funny. She just had a show. She has a show called Make It Rain. And I did it. Now you're supposed to dance after your set, which I said up front, I'm not doing it. And I'm not a fun person. Everyone get the word out. I'm not fun. I don't enjoy things. So please stop asking me to participate.
But Jeena Bloom let you do a set.
Yeah. But that's not why I was just, I was like, oh shit, we haven't had her as comic of the week. I always feel like we ran out, and then then all of a sudden there's like a new wave of women. Yeah,
there's 37, names. So Jeena Bloom.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I can't wait.
Yeah,
I would do her show, and the dancing is hilarious because, I'll tell you after. Let's do a Max Fun break.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Jackie Cation.
Hi, I'm Laurie Kilmartin.
And we have a podcast called The Jackie and Laurie Show. Who are you, Laurie Kilmartin?
Oh, my God. So much pressure. I'm a stand-up. I've been doing stand-up since 1987. I'm a writer for Conan. I've written a couple books, have a couple CDs out, have a special out. Who are you, Jackie?
Well, I, too, am a stand-up comic since 1984. And I do the road like a maniac and don't have a cool writing job, but I have 4 albums out, working on a new album. We talk about stand-up. We talk about all the different parts of stand-up comedy. So that's the Jackie and Laurie Show, and you should subscribe on Maximum Fun if you want to hear that.
And I would encourage you not to.
But I will say this. I've been running the Acme shows. Mm-hmm. And Andy's been doing tech, and then one of the managers is doing tech at the Acme show. And so Andy did the first show, but so Carmen on the show that she does, does music. When you come into the room, there's music. And I was like, How are you sharing that? How are you doing that? And she's like, well, I put my phone next to the microphone. And I was like, oh, I could do that. So I started playing, and speaking of Carmen, I was playing like cheese ball, the stuff they call yacht rock.
And I've never heard that. Who's they? This is one of those Trumpian phrases I would like identification. Who's a they? Yacht rock? I've never heard of it.
It's essentially, well, what it is it's literally, all it is it's the music that reminds me I don't know how to ice skate backwards. It's all of those. It's all that couple skate songs. And they're adorable and they're fun, but they're cheeseball-y and I went on gallery, and there's 250 people in the room, and you're scrolling through, watching people dance in their tiny Zoom pictures. It was very fun. So
that's cool. Carmen really figured this out. I did her show Saturday. Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. She has a good crowd.
Yeah, and she has a nice audience that comes, and she only charges $5 so that she can pay everybody. And and I like the Acme shows are $10, and we're using the Seat Engine Ticketmaster thing, right?
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah. So, and so the money's got to come from the Ticketmaster people before any of us get paid.
That's what I'm saying. Like it pays Seat Engine, right? Yep. Mm-hmm. So that seems like a middleman you might not need anymore. I hate to say that because they book helium, but
Right. Well, the only problem is that it's a middleman you don't need, except for that then the middleman would be me. And I actually don't want to be the middleman.
Oh, I see.
And I was like, Lewis, do you want, because for my shows, I'm like, just Venmo me or PayPal me and I'll split it among everybody. Mm-hmm. And then it's instantaneous and it's quicker and it's fair. But then I would have to 1099 Tommy Ryman, Andy Erickson, Pete Lee, Greg Coleman, Mary Mack, Tim Armstrong. And so I was like, so can you use your whatever? And then he told me it was Seat Engine. And I was like, oh, okay. And it'll take a while, because Lewis, comedy clubs paid you the night at the end of the week or at the end of the show, right? If it's a one-nighter. But because but that money was coming from the bar. That money was coming from the restaurant. That money was coming from the actual in-house money.
Yeah.
So Lewis, no clubs are making that in-house money. So he's got to wait until the Seed Engine checks come through, and then we all get paid.
Seed Engine takes a while to pay him?
Well, probably always has, right? They have to do their
see.
process. They have to process the whole thing.
Okay.
And then, or they might even pay monthly. So I've done 2 shows, and I haven't been paid for either of them. And I completely and entirely trust that I will. But it's an interesting
look behind the curtain
Yes.
of comedy club business.
Right.
The show I just did, it was Brent Gill's The Boulder Show. They had sponsors. So like underneath this, you're in Zoom.
Yeah.
And underneath there's a bar that says, sponsored by, it was mostly beer companies, but it was also a dental office. But it kept revolving. It just kept, a new sponsor would show up for 30 seconds and stuff. And so that was being pushed out to the Twitch audience. So that was just like a bar, almost like a news Chiron bar underneath the comic. It would just say your name and then, then it would also list people that were donating their Venmos. It was very smart,
Yeah. It's, the slug that I'm using for my show, just because it's easier.
What do you mean slug?
There's just a still picture that I share screen.
Okay.
And I share screen at the beginning. You share screen at the beginning like Carmen does.
Yeah.
That just and Hofstetter and Ben Glebe, their Nowhere Club. They have a slug that just gives everybody sort of a hint as to how to best watch a Zoom stand-up comedy show.
Right.
And then at the end of it, Acme made, we worked together so that Acme has the pictures of the comics and then a list of their websites and Venmo and PayPal underneath it.
Oh, that's cool.
Like Twitter handle, IG, Venmo, PayPal, website.
Yeah. And
I made a slug with a picture of me and the 3 new merch products that are clogging up my garage. Because I gotta sell this stuff, So it's been interesting that more and more people are doing it now, and I can't wait to find out who will be credited with inventing it.
Who did the first Zoom stand-up show?
I bet you it's Joe Rogan. Didn't he invent it? No. My thing is that it's just gonna be some dude who's be like, and the first person to make it happen was this guy. Yeah. And you're like, except for the first person I saw do it, 4 days into it being open, was Bamford.
Oh. Weren't we all learning Zoom the same week?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, we were. And so nobody, it's like podcasting. Nobody should get credit for inventing it or creating it or being, but Pardo and Marin get credit for the initial stand-up ones.
Yeah, yeah.
And but nobody really should get credit. But journalists, newspapers like to give credit to somebody.
Yeah. They love a little hook in their opening paragraph.
Do you want to do another break? Is it too soon?
Hello, this is Amy Mann.
And I'm Ted Leo.
And we have a podcast called The Art of Process.
We've been lucky enough over the past year to talk to some of our friends and acquaintances from across the creative spectrum to find out how they actually work.
And so I have to write material that makes sense and makes people laugh. I also have to think about what I'm saying to people.
If I kick your ass, I'll make you famous.
The fight to get LGBTQ representation in the show.
Mm-hmm. We weirdly don't know as many musicians as you would expect.
I really just became a political speechwriter by accident, realizing that I have accidentally pulled my pants down.
Listen and subscribe at MaximumFun.org or wherever you get your podcast.
It's like if the guinea pig was complicit in helping the scientist.
Are we back?
Yeah.
I have to say that when I record, so I put on headphones to do this podcast, to do any sort of show, so there's not sound coming in from my room or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I record on my iPhone, although I keep forgetting. Listening to it, I'm just listening to myself talk. There's no audience. And it's horrific.
Yeah. Yeah. I have not been recording because I don't want to. And I've come up with some new lines.
You're working out new shit. What are you doing? Are you missing out some lines that you might have thought of?
Maybe. I'm just gonna have to believe in the process, I guess. Huh? Except for that, I'm wrong. I know that I'm wrong, and but I can't. It's too painful.
It is. I have like 10 million recordings up till March 15th of me in front of an audience, and then from here on out, it's just my voice talking. What if? We really are going to be like this for probably 2 years in terms of stand-up. Things might open up and we can go back to places, but
right, it's going to be a lot less places, and it's going to be half full, and that's what Lewis is working on at Acme. I have 4 stories. I'm so fucking sorry, but Lewis just put in a 4-camera HD setup in December. Yeah. So he's excited about this, building a Zoom audience every week. I'm like, you should be doing 15 shows a month. And he's like, it'll come to that. But what I want to do is I want to get my audience used to coming to Zoom shows so that when I half fill the room, I can sell the other half to people at home that I can just push it to them and they'll get to see the shows at home.
That's very smart. Every independent club should be doing something like that,
Yeah, it was cool talking to him because you could see the light come back on.
The invention, the inventor sort of excitement.
The challenge of it was like, because that's what everyone needs, don't you think? We all need to be sort of find a reason to keep fucking going. And I'm psyched that Lewis has something.
Yes. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
So
glad we.
New Zealand has like almost no COVID.
That's because that lady put the hammer down.
Yeah. What I'm saying is, there's places like
we could go there.
We could fly to New Zealand and quarantine for 14 days and then do shows.
I'm watching a New Zealand murder show called Brokenwood Mysteries, Brokenwood Diaries.
I love the New Zealand accent. I'm already excited by this.
It's
Brokenwood?
Brokenwood.
You said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Brokenwood is the name of the town. And these are some real normal looking humans, man. That's awesome.
Is it Netflix or Hulu?
Amazon.
Okay.
It's Amazon Prime, but not. Okay. It's Acorn. They've sucked me into an Acorn. The first 30 days are free. So
Stars is doing something like that where it's pretty cheap for a couple.
Right. It just ended, and it turns out they win. I'm paying them $5. But I don't have regular cable, so I can be nickeled and dimed, I suppose, for a while.
And hey, we ask people to pay for content, so we should be paying for it too,
Yes. And oh my God, have I talked to you since I saw the Russian-Armenian answer to the Avengers?
Oh my God, no, I've never seen you this happy, so.
It's terrible.
Oh,
really?
It
is so bad. Here's the only. Yep. And oh my God, it's Russian. There has to be. Essentially, it's a guy who turns into a bear because it's Russian. Why wouldn't a Russian superhero team have a bear? They have to have a bear. Guy goes full bear, and then they give him a rocket raccoon, giant-sized gun.
Oh my God!
And the Armenian guy, who's the head of the team, is an Armenian monk. And he's in a very famous sad sack in the middle of nowhere Armenian church that's very beautiful for something made out of a mud. But it is. And he's sitting there saying the Lord's Prayer in Armenian. And I was like, oh my God. So I bought it for $4.99 and sent it to my dad. Because it was like, because my dad will be psyched. And it's blessedly, get this, here's the good news. It's an hour 20.
All right.
So
it's movie length.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say about it.
It's blessedly short. It's not even movie length. It's 25 minutes shorter than that.
My mom
The boy would like it.
Okay. I'll have to not suggest it, and hopefully...
Yeah. Don't suggest it. It's called Guardians. Just Google Guardians Russian.
Okay.
And that's
All
where
right.
you'll find it.
Yeah, it's a little... He's like a prickly pear a little bit. A little
Fair
bit.
enough.
I think it's getting worse, too. That's okay.
It'll get worse before
it's supposed
it
to
gets
happen.
better.
Yeah, he's only hanging around adults, and you're fucking 13-year-olds are supposed to be around other 13-year-olds. It sucks.
He's human.
My mom got a stimulus check, so she doesn't need it, right?
Nope.
She doesn't need it. So I said, hey, a lot of people are unemployed right now, and they're doing that to protect people like you. So you should donate your stimulus check to, some charity. And she said,
Some right-wing charity.
I am donating to Glenn Beck's charity.
I knew it. Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck her. Anyway, no.
Yeah.
In other news, she's your mom.
Jackie, I write that in my morning pages every single day. The first 2 pages are all fuck that, fuck her. This is unbelievable.
Oh, that's insane.
I know.
Glenn Beck doesn't need it. Glenn Beck's charity doesn't need it.
It's
money
a
laundering.
Scam. It's a scam, and she's one of those little people that's getting scammed by right wingers, and it makes me so angry.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes me angry. And then when I know how many people, like $1,200 would mean so much to a food bank or something like that right now, it's like it's stomach churning.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how many fake pawns I could buy with $1,200? I could deliver pawns to everybody. Test pawns.
Fake ponds. Yeah.
Yes.
Little baby pools. Andy's hair looks exactly like Hermie from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the dentist.
Oh my God!
He tried
you
to
must
order.
be so turned on.
Oh my God,
Jackie, that's the dream.
Oh my God. We tried to order clippers, and of course they are sold out.
Oh my God.
You cannot get clippers. And so I'm thinking of asking Rhea Butcher if she could just leave hers on her porch, and then I could drive by, pick them up, and then sanitize them, use them, drive back to her porch, leave them on her porch, and she could sanitize it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if she listens to this, but I need a pair of hair clippers because my hair is... It's long, and it's 90 degrees outside.
It's gross. I've told you I get headaches after like week 5 because I think what happens is I bleach, the roots, and then it starts to grow out, and the oil that maybe doesn't stick to the bleached part sticks to the regular hair, and the result is I get a headache, and that's always when I call my hair lady. I'm like, oh, my head hurts. And I'm just in pain right now. I want to shave my head, and then, but I mean, I have to take like 2 showers a day to make the headache go away.
The oil. Oh, that's so gross. I'm so sorry to hear that. Have you ever had super short hair?
Yeah. When I was 12, my mom got me the Hamill camel. Do you remember Dorothy Hamill? It turned into the Lady Di haircut, but it was a Hamill camel, and I was mistaken for a boy frequently, and I vowed never again.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm still reacting to being 11 years old. That's who I am.
I don't want to shave my head because my head is weirdly shaped. My skull, it has a weird divot in it, and I don't wanna. But
how do you know?
Have
you had it shaped?
I have had it short, and it's okay if my hair is sort of poofy on top. It makes my head is round because my face is round, and then if I have short hair, and then it just makes it round with a short haircut. And that's fine. Oh my God, I've bored myself with this fucking story. Oh my God.
Come back for more hair talk with Jackie and Laurie.
Oh my God. I almost went to Target the other day to get Andy a toy because I wanted out. The only place.
Have you been in your house the entire time? Like you haven't gone out for groceries, or you've been mailing stuff, right?
Right. I've gone. If it's many things, if it's more than 3 things, I will take Purell, my mask, and a rag, and I will go to the post office. The post office has the doors propped open, so I don't have to even use the rag to open the door, but I have to, and there's postage on it, so I open up the thing, drop it in with the rag, put it back, and then leave. So that's the only place I've been, except last, like 4 or 5 days ago, I can't remember, Andy and I went through the drive-thru at Baskin Robbins. The one on Victory over in Burbank. Do you know their flagship one? Yeah. And
I didn't know that was a flagship.
Yeah, it's one of their, like, it's a weird...
Originals?
Yeah, well, it's like a corporate headquarters with a drive. There's no... It's weird. And there was a line of cars, and I got a Cherry's Jubilee shake and a quart of Cherry's Jubilee. And so, which is now sitting in the garage freezer. And I'm psyched.
That's one of those ice creams I would never even take one bite of, and you're safe having that ice cream with me in your house.
Oh, I'm safe having it with me in the house just because I don't like ice cream is the only dessert I do like, and I only want it like every 3 or 4 days. I will eat an entire chicken every hour on the hour.
Really? Oh my God! I like that protein.
I'm bananas for a fucking roast chicken, but for some reason, sweet treats, I don't care.
That's good. They say COVID is attracted to sugar. Like, sugar does not help you. So if you don't like sugar, or you don't eat that much sugar, that's good.
Oh, wow. Oh, that is good. All right. Do you have shows this week? We have 5 minutes left of this thing.
Yeah, I got shows.
You got shows?
Yeah.
I'm doing Jenny McNulty's game show tomorrow. I'm doing that I believe is on Instagram. I'm gonna do just one of my afternoon shows where people can come, and if they have money to throw at me, they should throw at me.
So when do you start advertising that?
I think I'm just going to do it on I think I'm going to do it Wednesday, and I think I'm going to send out an email. So join my email list. It's easy to get on, even easier to unsubscribe. I'm not going to lie to you. Literally, you sign up at my website with the thing that says sign up, and that is just a form. And then to unsubscribe, every time you get an email from me, that's the top thing. It says, if you'd like to unsubscribe, scroll and unsubscribe. So, yeah.
I might do. We have a couple more weeks at Conan, and then we have a break. So I might do that during the break.
You should totally.
You're doing a show for the Punchline?
Yeah, I'm doing a show on Wednesday, an Instagram show for the Punchline. Sacramento, not San Francisco.
My feelings just got hurt. What? It doesn't matter. You're still in your living room.
Right, and then shit! I'm supposed to do a show, Frogtown show on Saturday, as well as my Acme shows on Saturday, and then there's an SDSD on Sunday. Whatever.
My big show this week is I'm doing a 4 p.m. Pacific show for Flappers. It's a headlining set, and nice. It's Mother's Day.
Yep.
I'm pretty much guaranteed work Mother's Day for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So that's my big show, and then I'll also be doing a 6 p.m. show that's a benefit for QED in Astoria, Queens, also on Mother's Day. Yeah. But the Flappers one is like a lot of time. So if you want to see me stretch it out, which I haven't done in a while, I've been doing these 7 to 20 minute sets. We'll see. I'm excited though.
Yeah. Pete Lee did 2 sets elsewhere, and then he did 2 20-minute sets for the Acme shows. So he had 4 sets. He said, this almost feels like New York.
Is he in New York, or is he in Minneapolis?
He's here.
In Los Angeles?
Yeah, he moved to Los Angeles about 6 months ago.
Oh, okay.
I said, did you know you were going to move and then just stay inside? And 'cause he could probably walk around his neighborhood. So
yeah. Have you been walking around at all?
A little bit. I've been gardening so much the last 4 or 5 days that just freaking shoveling dirt to shoveling more dirt. And I'm bored. I'm bored with...
So William's completely done with your project then?
Yep. Amazing. He's totally done. And I've decided to go with the longest of all Ethernet cables and a wireless access port in the garage. But I have to get somebody to the house to either drill it. But I may just go to Best Buy and run it through a window in the in the times that I need it. just until I can, because I'm finding out tomorrow when the guy can come to do it professionally.
Okay.
And that might be a week. Like he's a guy that works for Andrew.
Solmson?
Solmson recommended him. He works for Patton. So he might be super busy at this time just because everybody needs internet everywhere.
Right.
And now I need it in my garage. Good times.
Exciting.
Yeah. I have the one new joke that I'm working on, and I almost have a punchline for it.
I kind of have a new joke, and then I just am, trying to streamline the other newer stuff. But I don't have like a new like chunk I'm working on right now. So, I don't know. It's weird. I'm sure something will come up, Yeah. But it's
totally.
I feel like I've already I've hit that. I'm sick of my mother. Like I kind of don't want to go dip into that well again. It's done. So I kind of want to look outward, but there's nothing to look out at.
Right, just your pool. I do like the stuff you're doing about the birds. So
no, I stopped it. It stopped working.
Oh, really?
I should go back and listen to that first set. Maybe there was something there.
Because there's totally something there.
All right. It didn't work on one show, and then I wanted to quit comedy, and then I just gave up. I'm very fragile. I don't know if I look strong, but I'm about to break.
Yeah. Yeah. I literally was doing some whimpering, and I haven't whimpered until since I thought about getting on an airplane, the 30th airplane in 30 days. So I'm back to whimpering, you guys. I don't approve. I don't approve.
But
I had a
do
couple
you
of
feel
title
better
things
since you
pop
haven't
up,
been flying and traveling so much?
was,
You must feel
is
better
this particular
physically.
story done?
Yeah, I do. I do. I feel better.
Fake ponds.
I like
And
puttering around this tiny space.
Okay.
I like doing. I like the dishes always being done. I like, that I can go out and try to grow something from a seed and fail. By the way, fucking fail. I have seeds. I have dirt. What? I can't. I can make some of it sprout. I can't make others.
I like that.
Well, I also think like when I first started stand up, like when I moved to New York, I'm like, I don't give a shit about this. Or you want to end this thing right now?
God, we're at an hour, just so you know.
All right, we'll save it for next week. What an awful person you are.
Right now,
I listen to your fucking Iranian Armenian gremlin story, and I start one little tale, and you're like, thumbs down. It's been an hour.
I have to say that people who watch the Zoom, because you put this up on the thing, and then I put it up on YouTube on Wednesday so people can just watch it.
As soon as we get
when
out of
they
here,
see
I'll
why I said I was ready to go, and that's all you saw, then they'll know that I am vindicated. Vindaloo again.
All right. Bye.
MaximumFun.org.
Comedy and culture.
Artist owned, audience supported.